Okay, then I'm going to thank you very much for your time, John and Marcelo. John, you and I work fairly well, so if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Marcelo to introduce himself. Spend a couple minutes here, Marcelo, telling what you do and your expertise and how I
Okay,
can help you. Go ahead.
my name is Marcelo Hirschler. I have a company called GBH International. We've been in the consulting business for since '95. We work primarily in the area of codes and standards. Fire is our background. So right now we have 3 engineers, one who does installation and service of fire test equipment, and one who helps me out with the codes and standards. In fact, Tim Earl, he is going to be at the NEC meetings covering Panel 7. He's now a member of Panel 7, and so we represent a manufacturer of fire test equipment. As you see in there, if you look at, go to the fire testing equipment link on that, you'll see the kind of things that we sell. They're made in the UK, but most of my time is spent in organizations like ASTM, NFPA. I'm a member of several NFPA committees. I'm the chairman of the NFPA Glossary Terminology Committee. I work on, well, whatever, most of the time in terms of codes and standards in the area of fire.
Yes, you're noteworthy because I'm going to get over here if I can show. If I'm not mistaken, if I were to look in some of the previous revisions of NFPA 10, I think that you would find your name, or at least in most of the NFPA suite, you would find your name as a very, very prolific. That's the word? I think I wouldn't be shy about saying that. So I've always admired.
I do send in a lot of what used to be called proposal and comments, and now it's called public input. But yeah, and in particular, again, because a lot of that work is because of what Standards Council formed this glossary and terminology advisory committee, so that we can try to get consistent terminology throughout the NFPA system, and that's one of the reasons that I bug Mike, who is a member of NFPA NEC Panel 1, which deals with all the definitions. So I always have at least half a dozen things in that panel.
Yeah. So anyway, I've just tried to show you what some of your credentials here, and I think I was a supporter of some of the sort of wordsmithing where you were trying to distinguish between what would be an informational note and what should be. I think there were actually some stylistic points on the way the code is written on the NEC, at least, that you and I agreed on.
The NFPA Manual of Style, which unfortunately not all committees comply with, but the NFPA Manual of Style requires that the definitions should contain exclusively information that is generic, no requirements, nothing that says what you shall do, and also shouldn't contain lists and things of that nature. Those should go into informational notes or in the appendices or things like that.
Right. So that's a kind of a code geek stylistic issue that we often have to deal with, and so I think we just simply got outvoted on that one. I was pulling for you on the committee I'm on, but obviously others people. So we soldier on. So that's probably I've on this recording you'll see some references to your past work, and what it will give now some time for John to say a little bit something about what he does. John, go ahead.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, basically, I'm with plant operations in the maintenance department for life safety. So we maintain and repair all of the U of M fire alarm and fire suppression systems. Those maintenance tasks, including the PMs for testing and inspecting, are all driven by code requirements, the tasks that are involved and the cycles that we perform them on. So we follow the codes and the standards in that aspect, and basically it's maintenance and repair of about 250 or more facilities for the U of M.
Are you also doing the other?
University of Michigan?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, he's our lead fire guy. Are you also doing Dearborn and Flint, John?
The only interaction we have there is with the annual fire pump performance up in Flint campus. So we'll take our trailer up and do the annual fire performance on their 8 fire pumps.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only interaction. Dearborn we consult with from time to time, but no real hands-on work or maintenance. Some of the guys have gone along for final inspections to assist, but that's about it. Most of it's all right here in the Ann Arbor campus.
Yeah, so we have, what, 75 fire pumps here?
We have 68 on campus and another 14 at the medical center.
Okay.
So there's 72 fire pumps across campus.
Mm-hmm. Marcel, you're in the West Coast. I'm not sure how much interaction you have with the colleges and universities there. You have a sense of, do you interact at all? What does 100 fire pumps for one institution sound like to you?
In fire pumps, so active fire protection is really not my thing. I sort of follow when people do something in the, but other than that, no. I mean, I'm afraid I'm a passive fire protection kind of guy. So my primary interest is in increasing the requirements for fire safety in terms of fire test requirements and things of that nature, much more than the
day-to-day maintenance.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're also pretty knowledgeable in cabling and insulation and such.
Correct, because cabling is something that is very, very important in terms of fire safety, and the particular issues on cables on fire safety are those associated with plenum cables, which is where the highest degree of fire safety is required. And so that's why I cover PALS, as I said before, PALS 3 and PALS 16 of the NEC, because they are the ones that mostly deal with plenum cables and high degree of safety, and the things that we need to make sure that we get the right kind of safety in our public buildings.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well then on that note, I'm going to flash 4 concepts that have sort of percolated over the past year or so. And John, I'm going to qualify your participation here a bit because I'm sensitive to the situation that you're in. Okay, so I do get that. And I talked to Dwayne Lee last week, and he said, Mike, I don't mind giving you ideas, but I don't put my name on them. So this is a perennial problem. Marcelo, as I say, we've talked about a number of issues over we meet once a month, 30 minutes, and you can see how long, and somehow a few issues bubble up. So the 2 issues that bubble up are at least the 2 issues that we have to deal with before the end of the year are NFPA 10 and NFPA 730. 730 is a campus security document. I think that's a separate phone call, but we do have NFPA 10, and we do have 4 ideas that have been out there we've been banging around for about a year. And so, John, I'll say that you're not held to any of this. John's role is one who just simply conforms to what the code requires. Dwayne Lee, who is the one who is dealing with Class D fires, is the one who said, I'm happy to give you ideas, but I don't want to put my name on anything. So it looks like I'm stuck doing this. But since we do have the privilege of Marcelo's time, what I'd like to do is flash 4 of these ideas that have percolated up over the past year. And don't make any comments on them yet. I'll ask you to, of the 4, I'll call it a jump ball, and then that's your signal to figure out which one you want to deal with, because it's easy to get into details of all these guys here, and we only have a little bit amount of time. So this is one, so of the 4, this is one where we simply make a wholesale change to the inspection frequency. We're dealing specifically with Class D fires. and then we also make a, shall be manually inspected weekly. We're asking for, rather than fire extinguishers, shall be manually inspected daily or monthly. We're relaxing that in a prescriptive fashion. So that's idea number one. Another idea here, and this came from, I don't say where this came from, is that we felt we wanted to deal with travel distances a little bit more. So we're actually putting, and we were trying to make a prescriptive. Remember, inspectors want to see something prescriptive. They don't like, unless they see it on a bound risk assessment with an engineer's stamp on it, they don't like code to be up to the judgment of the inspector. That's not his job. So we felt we would try something here. I know that there's some difficulties with how we put the weights here. So that's item 2. Item 3 is another one here where we tried to do a little something different with the inspection frequencies. Shall be permitted to be scaled according to the presence of a sprinkler system. So if the Class D fire tends to make other fires happen, secondary fires, the secondary fire, if it has a sprinkler system in them, then we might want to moderate some of our inspection and maintenance load. And then finally, this one here is okay, so you know, this may well be one that we didn't completely put together. You know, this looks like it's a template. So actually, we're only dealing with 3. So I'm going to close this one. I only mentioned that this was Craig, this is Craig Grant out of Illinois, and he hasn't joined the calls for some time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for Craig and give him a call and see if he wants to do anything more with this. But since he was not somebody who's accustomed to doing code writing, I think I let this go for a while until he had the time.
Mike, you realize that your covering sentence is grammatically incorrect. I mean, shall be provided. Fire extinguishers or extinguisher agent with Class D ratings shall be provided in accordance with Table 6.51, and then cut out the rest.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything.
Okay, let me close this one out and let's just edit. I'm going to rename and let's get some ideas here. So let me close that one because I guess it looks like we're only dealing with 3. So the one then to pick up what you're saying here. So you are able to. I'm gonna give you control of the mouse, Marcelo. In fact, everyone can have the mouse. John, don't touch your mouse. So tell me, Marcelo, you should wiggle your mouse. Tell me what you'd like to see changed.
Get rid of this.
Well, actually, okay. So that's actually. So let me see. Can you do a? That's actually part of the text.
I understand that, but you're adding new language, so that's unnecessary.
Okay.
I mean, hey, I'm dealing exclusively with the wording, not with the technical content, because this is again, as I said to you before, this is not my area of expertise.
Okay. Okay, so I think you just wanted me to do the strike there, so that's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, and there's nothing different there. Now, I'm not sure how much. So to sort of recap what some of these ideas that were coming up.
You do need, Mike, also format. You do need to create a title for the table. Call it Table 651 and whatever the hell you want to call it, or fire extinguishers. Table 651. Fire extinguishers in laboratories, or for Class D hazards. Cut out installation. You've got that Class D hazard there.
All right. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. That's an important stylistic thing. It gives them one less reason. They're going to reject this. We know it. If we're just going to get this talked about, and maybe somebody will come on another idea here. I think what the main objections here is that the size and volume. John Hirschler explains to me that 1 gram of sodium will be different than 1 gram of magnesium or titanium and whatever these others, and so it's really not appropriate. We felt that we wanted to, because we're
in this is you should be able to talk. Are you familiar with Elizabeth Buck?
Elizabeth, boy, that name's awfully familiar. How do you spell her last name?
BUC.
BUC, Elizabeth Buck, is she an expert?
Yes, and she lives very close to you. She's in Michigan, in the Detroit area, and I mean I can get you her, but she's an explosives expert. So, and she's developed a series of categories of explosivity. So you might want to talk to her about how to put this together.
Okay, so BUC?
Yeah, that's it. And let me see if I can give you the email address.
There we are. Actually, she's at Alma College. Look at that. I'll be darned.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing that I also tell people at this in the public input stage is that we're not necessarily obligated. I need an idea that gets discussed. We'll draw fire from it, but we may well be able to have more information from experts like this. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a very important connection we want to make. And so, see, John, aren't we lucky I get a chance to know this guy? Anyway, so we will be able to. So then, what I want to do is, knowing that this is doomed as a first cycle, I may have I'll take a chance at letting her see what she thinks about this. Since
give her a call, and because instead of putting it as the amount based on a gram, you may want to put it as a function of the category of in the various. She's developed these classes. You can find the details in NFPA 400, and which is the code for explosives or something. I can't remember and yeah, go in there, look at that, and so instead of putting it in terms of the amount of material, which sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense, put it in terms of class so and so much of class so and so, whatever.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
That makes sense. Okay, great. That's going to make John Hirsch. We just didn't know the silver bullet, and you just got pretty close to solving it. So okay, all right. So this is about all the time we have for a public input. I have to tell you we have to move on because we only have a few more minutes on this call. There is let's see. There's another one. Then it had to do with the testing interval. Where do we do it? I think this is where we did it. Okay, so this is a little bit more into John's bailiwick, although he's in a position where he's not. He'll do what he's told, but you can see what we're trying to do here. You have some thoughts here, John? Are you still with me?
If those changes can be warranted, Mike, as you said, we'll follow the code. It's changing daily to weekly and weekly to monthly.
This is for Class D extinguishing agents. So I guess this does require a little bit of field experience here. Now this is what Dwayne Lee was talking about. I guess this.
If you have any cons to list, what do we lose by changing to that type of cycle?
Yeah.
That would warrant a discussion. If you're not taking anything away from the safety, then it's probably valid.
Right. And of course, the silver bullet is one that the inspectors don't like, and very often owners don't want to finance. And it has to do with a risk assessment. And you can almost say to make anything an inspection interval risk-informed and site-specific, conduct a risk assessment. So you bring somebody in from SFPE, they come and they look and see what it. I don't know if anyone has ever looked at education facilities specifically to see whether or not high school chemistry labs, freshman chemistry labs. We don't know that, and I don't know if that's ever been studied. That might even be something we would recommend to the Research Foundation. Ultimately, I have to ask how much resources in terms of time do I use, and what will it gain for us in terms of safety and economy. So I think there's probably, I'm doomed to have to put this in here. They're going to say no, or they'll ask for more data. Usually that's what they'll do. And actually, I believe that here I've actually given some reasons. I've given some reasons here, and I'll post these. I believe these are already posted on the website. So this is basically all we have time to deal with this year for this one standard. It's not like we haven't talked about it a bit. Marcelo has given us some other expertise that could probably inform it, but recall now that we will still have a period of time here. Let's see, where we can where we can look at the committee's response, and I'm going to go right here to where the committee's. This is Firefox, by the way, and this is what the program is for getting this standard change. So it looks like what we'll see here is we'll meet this deadline. We have to wait a while to see what the first draft report says, but we have some time between this period, the report posting date, and the comment date. Between September and November of next year, we'll have 60 days, so to say, to put more data together, and that's reasonable. That's actually reasonable. We have about a year to work with other people to determine whether or not if we're under inspecting or over inspecting education facilities, and it's not just colleges and universities. We would propose it for K-12. And that's kind of the show for today. As Marcelo knows, there's a lot happening. NFPA runs probably about the best show on earth. We have to pick our battles. I use this as Marcelo, just so you know, I try to do a proposal or comment per day. I mean, we're a $300 billion industry. I believe we have to rise to the scale of that industry, so I don't always make it. We got to about 150 this year out of the 200 days available to us. But in any case, that's kind of what that's kind of all that we're able to do. This is us taking priority and trying to figure out what's most important. I will say that one of the drivers for this was an unfortunate accident, and I think that if I'm not mistaken, Marcelo, that accident occurred in your area, did it not? That professor, what's the I think that this is this work or death case.
Oh, UCLA. Yeah, that would be in the Southern California. I'm closer to San Francisco, Northern California.
That's right. Okay. Well, this came to our attention because of that. We felt that we weren't going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. We felt that we felt close to this issue because it threatens the business model of a lot of research universities. And if I'm not mistaken, John, our researchers are individually responsible for making sure that their workers are trained.
Right.
Yeah, and so they're fairly orthodox about that. So this is just a little background. That's why one of the drivers for bringing this and trying to deal with it in this fashion. That's why this rose to the top. So anyway, that's it. That's it, guys.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Mike, for organizing this. I will see you in Hilton Head.
I will do that. Anything else? Any closing thoughts, John? No,
Marcelo, I appreciate your input.
So
thanks for your input. Take care.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.